All right, so what's up, Wolf Empire? So this training right here is only going to be about 30 minutes to 35 minutes, but I'm going to cover what I'm working on for you guys. So eventually in the Discord, so we started off with a lot of different type of alerts in the Discord, which is how I originally wanted to do it, a bunch of different types of alerts. Uh, knowing I know it's giving you guys a little alert fatigue, but we needed to have a bunch of different type of alerts so I can see which alerts are producing like the better trade setups, just helping you all with the trade plans the best. And so eventually, when I get finished with the alert system 2.0, it'd look like this, pretty much like this day trade channel. I'm going to have a day trade channel, swing trade, and leap alerts. Basically, just but it's going to be more so in the format of the top the top list, what I'm saying, the top ones after I went through them and checked the charts and checked the trend and checked all that stuff. That way, as a pat, we can just focus on certain tickers. And then under this private trade notes, it's still going to have like the raw data so that people that's more advanced, that's doing their own thing, stuff like that, they still have access to those alerts to be able to kind of do what they want to do, but we're going to consolidate them that way people that's new and people that's just in the system can come to one location if they want a day trade, for example, or if they want a swing trade. We will have the list vetted out on so for swing trades I'm probably going to wait for all the alerts to come in, like the daily ones, and then the weekly weekly alerts, and then consolidate that into a channel, and then we'll focus on those swing trades for the up and coming week. And then the day trade ones, I'm gonna do them every day. And then the leaps, we'll take the data from like the probably the second week, like 2 weeks of data or like a month of data to come up with the leaps list. But so I want to go over this one in the trade channel. So what I did earlier today is I posted this top 10 bullish list, right? And a top 10 bearish list. Now, overall, the market trend today was pretty bearish. The market dipped for a little bit in the morning after it got that job data. The job data came in very recessionary. They're not making many jobs. However, we get unemployment tomorrow. So, them not having a lot of jobs or like hiring a lot of people is bad. But it's only bad if, unemployment starts getting out of control. Not creating a lot of jobs is bad, but it's not like we started off with a high class problem earlier in inflation where we had like every American had like 2.1 jobs. Like everybody had an opportunity to get two jobs. And so now it's kind of balanced, but they're just trying to make sure it's not slipping into the fact where people get on unemployment and they're just stuck on unemployment. So we don't know if that's true or not yet. So when we get more data in, we'll know. So the market kind of dipped off of that. Microsoft had got some a bad headline, but ended up being wrong. They reversed that. But Microsoft seemed to not recover as much. It recovered a little bit, but that news first thing in the morning kind of messed the market up. Microsoft just tanked all of a sudden in a lot of tech. But then smart money used that as a way to rotate into small cap and mid caps. So one thing I always teach you all, when you see over here on my main watch list, um, when I'm watching, ES, NQ, and then this is the Dow futures and Russell futures. You always want to know, really, even when you do top down analysis with Black Wolf, saying one of the main things you want to always keep a pulse on is you want to have a top down analysis of ES, NQ, YM, and RTY. Uh, Mainly NQ and ES for sure. You want to know what levels they need to break above, what levels they need to break under, because when these things turn bearish or break key levels, so they're going to signal when the market itself is going to drop. And so you want to keep an eye on them, and you want to keep an eye on VIX higher time frame, but definitely you want to at the beginning of each week, you want to kind of know your levels on NQ and ES because that's going to help you. It doesn't matter if you get into regular stocks. Like if you understand futures and you understand what SPY is doing and QQQ is doing, that helps you to jump into like tech plays and other plays because you know what I'm saying when the index has strength and futures have strength, you know that you have a better chance for your calls. And if stuff is breaking down and breaking key levels, you know that you have a better chance for puts. So you always want to keep a pulse on their key levels. Okay. So this is one of the stocks that was it was like the number one on my list that I posted. It broke out at the end of the day with a Marbazu White, VRTX. Um, Here, it was in the top 10 of the in my top 10 bullish ones. So we had VRTX, Kava, and a few other ones. So the reason why I track these by fair value gaps. So I have a message in this alert that says you can enter in on a retest. I know we're gonna have to do some more training on fair value gaps, but that's just showing like how when a fair value gap is created, you normally can enter in on that, especially that first one is near demand. If it's near demand zone and is near support after the breakout and things like that, it holds up better. But more so, other than entering in directly on a fair value gaps are a good sign that the stock is having momentum. It has volume coming into it, and so you want to make sure that I'm tracking these to make sure that if I have a top 10 bullish list, the way I'm doing this and creating this system here just in this one channel is that I have a bias that these stocks are bullish because I did a top down on them already. I done my homework on them. So I picked these, and posted them at like 7:30 a.m. That these would be the ones I'll be biased toward for calls. Now, if the market would have turned red or something went wrong or some of them didn't go up, if a person just give you a list and say these are my top 10, you know what I'm saying? Some of the stocks may be dud, some of them may go up, some of them may consolidate, but I'm using the fair value gap to expose which ones are actually moving. So that's what I'm doing with the fair value gap. So I got this top 10 list and I'm only alerting them for bullish fair value gaps. I don't care if they got a bearish fair value gap. I don't care if they go against what the higher time frame trend. I'm more so interested in which ones are going to align with my bias, and I'm betting these for bullish fair value gaps. And I'm doing the same thing for the top 10 bearish. So like McDonald's today, it went up like $7, right? So you don't see it popping up on here as a trade to take puts on, right? But the ones that did fall into the line with the trend or the bias, these ones showed, the bearish value gaps and stuff like that. So one other thing I'm going to add to this filtering process to help us is the ATR tracker. So tomorrow, when we get this list, the first thing you're going to see probably pop up in here before the fair value gaps is the ATR showing which ones have volatility and not. And then you will see, saying the green or red signals come in for fair value gaps. Now, the reason I'm gonna show you why I'm gonna do that. So with VTRX, if I go to the 5 minute time frame and we look at this stock, so we already have a bias that is bullish because of the homework I did the night before, right? So then this stock, it explodes up. Uh, I believe this was a fair value gap here. This is the first candle. This price action happens extremely quick. And so even if you waited to after 9 o'clock, you still had a good move from 450. I'm looking at the price scale over here, 453. You did the inverse arc, and we pushed up, popped in the fair value gap, and we still kept maintaining the uptrend and pushed up pretty far. That's a $10 move still in this stock. But one thing that I noticed about a couple of them, so another one that was on the list was Clack, right? So we got them. Let's check their chart out. And you'll notice a theme with these. Is this the first candle? No, that's not the first candle. So we open up down here, and then we got this, this expansion up on them. I think ASML did a similar type of move. And so we opened up um right here. And then, we captured VWAP on the 5 minutes and we pushed up. And then you flip over to their extended trading hours, they broke, they was marching, they had a large range. So when you see this larger range, right here, it takes a while for it to break the pre-market high, but it still popped up and broke out. Um, and if you go to like which one we're looking at, like Clack, a lot of times when you see a stock in a pre-market with a really narrow like range right here and consolidation for pre-market, these stocks when they break their pre-market high or low, they tend to make bigger moves because their range is so narrow. Now, what I want to show you guys, the reason why I'm going to add the ATR is the ones that had daily ATRs flip to aggressive had really, really good moves. Let me see ASML. Now, Clack didn't have it, but it did have a good move. But ASML had a really consistent, smooth ride up, and a few other ones had really good moves. Let me check this. So we come here. So here's so they moved 30. What's this? Yeah, they ran up $30. ASML ran up $30. Clack ran up $21. Tesla ran up $17. And then AG, which is silver. Silver, it didn't move that much. Was that well? This is by the end of the day too. This is what they closed and kind of the overall day, but they had price action moving throughout the day. Like Meta pushed up a little bit more than that, but they ended up closing around $7. But overall, you can see that the list had, I guess you can call these duds, and this really, you mean XLI, XLC. Really, I only left the list with actual stocks in it for tomorrow. I took the these little sectors or whatever out, but these stocks had good movement today overall, but the entire market did as well. So, but these had like pretty extreme. You had some big home run type moves in these stocks. So tomorrow, what I'm going to add is the ATR to that list. So basically, all we're doing in here, and we're going to use this list next week and going forward, to try to see if we can get green days and end the week green. And so what this does is it's kind of just cuts down focus, right? So I attempted to do that with the focus groups for people that just wanted to trade one ticker, and you can still do that if you just want to trade one stock. You can go into like the Netflix group or like go to QQQ and things like that. You can go to the Tesla group if you only want to trade Tesla. But what this does is it gives us a list of stocks as a group, as an entire Discord in the daytime. If you're a day trader, so we're going to focus on getting entries on here. And I think I'm going to open up the chat inside of this group so it won't just be a read only, but we can open it up and it'll have a feel kind of like how QQQ or something like that, a feel how you can be talking and then you get the alert come in. But I'm trying to make my mind up on that. But when we had this list of stock, this is the new list right here. No, this is the old list right here. And so for tomorrow, we have this list. VRTX is still on there. MDB is still on there. COV is still on there. ASML is still on there. But Palantir is now on here. ON and UPS have been added to this left. Crowd has been added to this left. FCX is added to this list now. Because when I looked at the market today and looked at, saying the price action of these are the ones I feel like would do best tomorrow as far as calls. So I'm gonna add fair value alert triggers to these to come into this channel. I'm gonna add the ATR to make sure. So the ones that pop out with the ATRs first are probably gonna be the ones that's gonna be really moving because the ATR tacker don't waste no time to kind of sense what's has high volatility. And you can see that if you go into if you ever pay attention in the morning when you get your first group of alerts. If we come down to what's this 8:30, it'll start flipping now this was at 12:1. Let me go to 12:3 right quick. Mm-mm, mm-mm. All right, so here This is so they had Marvel on here, Lowe's, and then Crowd, Microsoft because it was dropping really fast. And so the ATR tracker at 8:30 is gonna start picking up stuff that's moving and stuff that whether it's dropping or is popping up, it's gonna start showing you which stocks have like extreme volatility kicking into it because it can feel it from the back end of the volume and the volatility and the actual ATR itself expanding before the move really starts happening, you can already see that volatility spike, and just like it has. See, this is VRTX. It started tracking that it was the ATR was expanding when it was only at 449, and then it ended the day at like what 443 or something crazy like that, right? So it was picking up on the ATR expanding early, first thing in the morning, so you can already kind of sense what's going to be different moves. I think Zoom pushed up today and ended up closing above a supply zone and things like that. So it was picking up that volatility um, as soon as the market. This is 8:30. You see, like this is like the second that the market opens, it's already picking up what is getting that strong momentum, what is getting that strong volatility in the background, so it can feel it coming in there. So that's a huge advantage if you're a day trader to kind of know ahead of time. Like as soon as the bell ring, what's getting volatility. And so when you're a day trader, you don't really care if it's a bearish volatility or bullish. To day trade, you just need to see the trend and understand, saying when to get in, when to get out if you're scalping and stuff like that. But you just need not to end up on a stock that's just gonna sit there and look at you all day. You want something that's gonna move, a few dollars up or down so that you can make your money. And so that's what the ATR tracker and these alerts will help you find what has volatility, right? So we're going to use this day trade focus group and this focus channel and these catered alerts. Just try it out and see if we can get some good trades. And then so when you see these trades getting these fair value gaps, that's just telling you that okay, the stock is moving in that direction that we're trying to get it in. So if we have vetted a bunch of stocks for bullish moves and we start getting bullish fair value gaps on that stock, then you want to look and say, okay, let me go look at the 5 minute chart. Let me go look at the chart and see if I can get an inverse arc or entry or enter in on a fair value gap. If it has support under or if it's just not coming out of a demand zone or something like that, you can enter in on a strong fair value gap and then let the price push up from there. But you can still stick to the same confirmation system. These fair value gaps are just showing us directional momentum. So if we got a bunch of bullish fair value gaps, it just means that the stock is trying to push inside of a bullish direction, right? Does anybody have any questions about that? You can unmute yourself if you do. Okay. So again, for this channel, we're going to so the night before, I'm trying to give you these tickers early. If you want to do some groundwork, you want to go look at them. I even put the runners up on here. I actually added this one twice by accident, but these are the runner-up bear stocks, right? I called out CVS individually when I was going through and picking the stocks, and then these are the runner-up bullish stocks right here that we're going to day trade. Now, if this day trading system works, or I'm up to suggestions as far as you know, if you all see something that you want me to add or take away, I'm fine with that. We're gonna like I said, we're gonna move as a pack, and we're gonna know every. I don't know everything. I don't know everything that. It's so many different trading styles and psychology levels in the Discord. So I'm trying to find something that can give us some collaboration effort as a team. And I feel like the difference is that like when I vet this, it's a strong vetting process I use to narrow this down to 10 stocks, right? And we did have some spillover. We had like an additional 5 runner ups, but I go through a extreme process to vet them. And so after I vet them, that's why we had some of them like we saw on there that had made extreme moves. And what I noticed is that if I add the ATR in here, that'll give us, saying even more clarity on what's really got money behind it so that we can kind of pinpoint and focus on those tickers and it will show us early in the morning. So hopefully most of them are early in the morning.
I have a
Yeah.
question.
Go ahead.
So would it be safe to just like once these tickers start popping, like at 8:30 in the morning, would it be safe to go ahead and hop in something then or still wait the first 15, 30 minutes?
Yeah, wait the first 15, 30. So you don't the fair value gaps first thing in the morning, some of them be legit. Like from this list, since this list is so vetted out, um, these stocks done what they were supposed to do today to signal that they're trying to continue. You know what I'm saying? These stocks, then closed over, 1 hour, 2 hour order blocks. They didn't close. Some of them closed over daily order blocks. Some of them have breaker structures, with continuation candlestick patterns, uh, inverse arcs on a higher time frame, 3 day time frame, inverse arcs, things like that, like powerful continuation um, signals and volume behind them. So some of them you will get away with doing that, but the best rule of thumb is to wait, that first 15 minutes only because the pre-market volume can come in all at once when the market opens and create those fair value gaps and give you some bad ones that the price can just slip right back through. So
Mhm.
once the market settles down and you start getting the fair value gaps you start getting like after like 9 o'clock be like real, they be solid, what I'm saying, more solid
Ah,
fair value gaps.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So what do y'all think about this? Do this right here? Because it looks like a lot of signals, but when you think about it, it's just the same. Like this is Kava coming in here, and then Kava coming in again here. You see what I'm saying? Like it's the same tickers over and over again, but it's just it's showing you that the momentum is still picking up. So like if we look at
Yeah.
yeah, so we look at them and really pay attention. So you see we got fair value gap. Say this one. Say you waited to 9 o'clock, right? Say we started down here. We got ASML, got a fair value gap here, and you got Kava right here, and then you got VRTX at 9:15 at 4:54, right? The price was at 4:54 here, and then you got Kava again. Let's see, we got another VRTX. Then you got VRTX again right here. So it's really just the same tickers trying to break out. So this one right here was at 10:10. It was at $454. By 10:40, it's at $460, right? Then it had a pullback and then gave another fair value gap for an entry, right? At 458, the price of 458, right? Then you see 15 minutes later, that was at 25 minutes later, it's moved up $1, right? Put it in another fair value gap. And so it's just kind of like walking up with, and then so this one right here, put in what is this fair value gap at 459, and then from this fair value gap at 1145 by 125, which was 2 hours later, it's at 462. You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's just giving you entries, it's giving having pullbacks, just like normal volatility, pulling back. When that volume comes back in, it's printing a fair value gap to show you, okay, volume coming back in, and then you can go look at your chart and try to get an entry. And all these tickers are working the same way. Now, Hustle put some I think it was in cheat sheets. No, we got a fair value gap right here. So under Wolf Academy, under fair value gaps. So when you see me put FVG, this means fair value gap. Um, and so in here, it's a which fair value gap is valid video. It's a really strong, good video. Not very long at all. But if you study this, what I'm saying, and study fair value gap, you'll understand, pretty much why we use fair value gaps, what they are, what I'm saying, and all these different things. So it's a good study right here on fair value gaps. Um, I lean on fair value gaps, like I said, for the momentum part of it. I like to see that momentum when I enter in on the fair value gap, I like to see confluence. I don't ever do anything just because, like, okay, just because it's fair value gap, I'm gonna enter in on the fair value gap. I would enter in on the fair value gap and say if it's like right there above the 12 cloud, and when I'm pushing back inside the fair value gap, I also have the 12 cloud as support. Right, I enter in on the fair value gap with that because now I have the the buy orders from the fair value gap and that they're trying to correct, and it's going to push it back out. But I also have my 12 cloud sitting there as support. So I like to have like at least two things or two, like a 12 cloud and a fair value gap, what I'm saying, an inverse arc or a fair value gap, and then wait on the inverse arc right after it. Like if my WTMA is sitting under the price, it then push and it pulls back into a fair value gap and gives me that arc confirmation. I like to play them like that. That way I'm having like confluence. But you can watch this video. Does everybody have access to the Wolf Academy? This section right here. If you can't see, if you're new and you can't see stuff on your chart, just click on where it says channels and rows. I think this is where it's at. No, that's not it. Where is it at? Browse channels or something like that. Oh, here it is. It is in here. So channels and rows, and then click on browse channels, and then you will be able to see like all the channels in the Discord. If you can't find something, and you might have it unchecked. So down here, we used to have stock day trade alerts. I cut all these off now, so we don't have any other art confirmations, bearish and bullish. 15, 30, 1 hour, 15, 30, 1 hour. We don't have these triggering anymore in the Discord. The only ones that we have triggering right now is the 1 hour time frame arcs. And I did a poll on those and see who was using them. I didn't have anybody say they were using them, so I turned them off. And so now if you want to see some 1 hour time frame arcs, which they do help you with your trades. Now they're organized inside a swing trade, WTMA alerts, wolf trend moving average. WTMA is wolf trend moving average, which is the lime green line with the red, the crossover, the moving average that we use for our inverse and bearish arcs. If you click on swing trade WTMA alerts all throughout the day, you can see which stocks are having 1 hour time frame, bearish or bullish arcs up in here. So it'll show you, what I'm saying, which stocks are having inverse arcs, which ones are having bearish arcs every hour, right? So you can kind of come in here and see what is moving. And then at the end of the day, like today, you see how at the end of the day now, so we get 1 hour arcs all throughout the trading day to allow us to see what stocks are about to break out, what stocks are breaking down, and then at the end of the day, we're getting the 3 day time frame inverse arcs or bearish arcs, and the daily time frame inverse arcs and bearish arcs. And so these are the stocks that will be breaking out. So now, like if you look at Lyft, the time of the lift is coming now to where it's going to try to break out. It's got a 3 day inverse arc, which is a strong confirmation, right? So if we go look at lift chart, uh, it's vetting. So now you look at how the chart is set up now. We got an inverse arc, we got a liquidity sweep, and we pulled up, came down and swept again. Now we reclaimed the 12 cloud. This is the daily time frame. Um, we got a 30 day trend line level 3 on this daily close right here. It got to get above this volume right here, but then it's going to push up and try to hit like 2390 up in that range. And if you check the 3 day chart, it's coming out of a 3 day demand zone. The WT just crossed on the 3 day as well. So it's sitting inside of it's been consolidating a lot of money right here. They have earnings in February. So it's, what I'm saying, you're getting that timing now to play them, right? And so this is these stocks are all throughout here, like ON is helping you time when it's time to try to start getting your especially if they got earnings in like 2 months. This is when you try to play earnings. Now this one right here is really close to the 200 test. But it ended it's 3-day candle with a Marabazu candle, which is pretty bullish, right? And then let's go to the daily time frame. So it's coming up on a buy side sweep. So it's probably gonna push up. A buy side sweep just means it's gonna push up right above this order block right here. It's gonna push up above it. And then since this is the first time it has tested it since July, when it pushes up for the first time, it's going to be hard for it to close the day above it. So what you would probably see is if it is it's going to push up slightly above it and then pull back. And so, but you just want to be ready for that. You don't want to fight it. You just if you play it up to the order block, tighten your stop loss up, and then if it gets above it, just keep your stop loss tight, and then it'll try to pull back inside of it. But see, this what you get with all these different ones. I know some of y'all be trading Oklo, and you got App has a 3-day inverse art, which is like I said, it's a strong reversal confirmation. And if you look at there, you see how it's kind of vetting out. So the daily arc came back all the way in November, right? So this was a daily time frame inverse arc when app was down here at 569. You see that? So this signal was in the Discord when app did this inverse arc, right? And this is the power of a fair, like when I say I like to see a fair value gap and then an inverse arc. So you see how it pushed up fair value gap, it pulled back inside of the fair value gap, but then it created a bullish inverse arc. And then so now it's like got confluence that it's gonna have that momentum. Then it pushed up, created another fair value gap. It just pushed down inside of it and pushed out of it again. And it also has this level 3 confirmation, right? So this is right here what we call a confirmation stack. When you have an inverse arc and a level 3 kind of like all stacked in each other, and then you looking at a plus trade range because the volume profile is nothing in here really. And then it just got a 3-day time frame inverse arc that's fresh. Where this right here, it crossed, but it's candle need to be. It's not an arc candle yet. So, but it caught the crossover here. And so, if I was to guess where prices was gonna get stuck at and grab liquidity and trap people, it'd be right above this. Like when they get to 700. So basically, when they push above 700, you want to tighten your stop loss up because they're going to try to snatch it back down probably to about $20 after it does that. So, but having these arcs organized like that, it will help you when you're trading, right? So let's look at a 1 hour arc that happened today and just choose any one of them. Let me see. We already know what ASML did. Um, Coca-Cola had one at 11. Let's check them. So they had a bearish arc, and they've been kind of stuck at that 69, 70 range for a minute. I don't know how long they're going to stay there, but let's see. But you just want to kind of keep your posts on so they had this it happened. This is 11:30. They're sitting at the 200 the 200 cloud. So it's not a very, saying like I don't really like it. This is was it an inverse art? I thought it was a bearish art. KO. Oh no, it was an inverse art. It was an inverse art. Yeah, so they had an inverse arc right here, and price they're at the 12 cloud already, so they need to get above. So you can see right here for Coke, they're under the 12 cloud, and they got an inverse arc, and it's sitting here, but they're stuck under this historical support level. So they have to before they break this level. If they break under 70.55, they're gonna push down to 69 again. But if they can break above the 200 and reclaim it here around 71, man, they can push back into like 72 pretty aggressive because they're in a big range for Coke. They're like in a lotto range. You know how you can sometimes get lotto contracts and they pay off. They're in that type of range because they can drop pretty quick and make this move right here. So and then, the contracts be pretty cheap. You try to go like to like a 73 contract on Coke, it'd be like pretty cheap because it don't really move that much. But anyway, they have this is an inverse art. They still need to mount the 200 cloud to get, to push up to kind of test these levels right here. So that's how it's organized now. We're gonna work on the we're gonna work out of this day trade level for those that day trade. For those that swing trade and do leaps, I'm gonna come up with a top 10 list. I already made the swing trade top 10 list, but I'm gonna have to program a channel for them. So I did come up with a list of them. I post a list in here, but I'm going to make it a channel like this, and so eventually our system, our alerts are going to be organized in that type of shelf. Day trade alerts, swing trade, and then leaps. So our scalpers and day traders will be able to come in here and get, saying, like, really good vetted trades. I mean, vetted stocks that, we have a bias and we know what direction we want them to go in, and we'll play the direction if they give it to us. And then we'll do the same thing for the swing trades and the same thing for the leaps. And then we'll just have three spots to kind of look at those alerts. And the rest of the Discord will be, saying, we still have like the Wolfpack putting in trade plans and stuff. And I think that'll cut down like a lot of the noise in the Discord. And so now, all right, I'm gonna open it up for like 5 minutes, and if y'all have any questions about anything,
Hey, Sean, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Hey, so with the fair value gaps, I guess I've always been looking at them as something to like the price is going to come back down to rather than something that proves that it's a strength. So you're saying with all those fair value gaps that it's showing you that it's just going to keep going up rather than looking for a place for it to come back down to.
No, you're it's going to come back down and retest the fair value gap. But when you're retesting the fair value gap, it normally will retest it. I'm not saying on the first retest. It'll
Mhm.
normally come back down on that first retest and then push back out of it. But the
Okay.
fair value gap shows you that the stock has speed and momentum,
Okay.
because that's how it's created. It's created because price moved up or down so fast, that it left that little imbalance in price because the stock moved too fast. And
Okay.
so that's why I say, like, when you look at, like, for example, when this top movers tabs, I can tell when SPY is going to be bullish, or like when SPY starts, you see how lopsided at 1 p.m. and look at this. You see how we got one bearish fair value gap at 11:45, but at
Hmm.
11:50 and 12 o'clock, it's all bullish fair value gaps and SPY streaming up. And
Hmm.
whoever was stuck in the puts, you can, because we're tracking so many stocks, we can see, what I'm saying, like, with they got, these are the futures and Dow and, IWM. That's why I was like, hey, IWM getting strength. I can see all that by just looking at this top mover channel, that the market is lopsidedly bullish. You got one bearish stock at 1020. You got all these bullish, you got one bearish stock and all these bullish price action movements across the board. You see what I'm saying? So the only thing that was holding SPY down a little bit today was because tech was consolidating and pulling back some, but the rest of the market was pushing. And so that's why I knew that, IWM was strong, and, saying this was not like it wasn't a bear market, because IWM doesn't go up when smart money is bearish. Yeah. Well, and I say IWM, I'm talking about like small caps. Whenever the market is truly bearish, and not just consolidating to break out the new highs, small caps are going to get hit the worst. They're going to get, destroyed, and people will run to, like, saying, maybe some of the strongest big tech, stuff like Apple. They're running stuff like that, but they don't run to. You won't see IWM green and stronger up 1% if the billionaires are scared. When they're scared, they go into a mode of defensive buying, and they take all risk off. So you'll see Bitcoin dropping, you'll see IWM dropping. When they're really scared, Bitcoin and IWM will drop and crash out. But when they're just rotating money out of tech into like smaller cap stocks and trying to spread their portfolio, you will see IWM going up, Dow Star going up, Bitcoin going up, crypto going up. That means that they're trying to set up SPY to try to take it up higher. Yeah. When you hear people on like those news business stock channels, and they talk about breadth, they're saying, like, they're talking about these small caps and mid caps. The market isn't healthy when SPY's breaking all-time highs, and it's only because Nvidia, Microsoft, and AVGO are bullish. You know what I'm saying? That's weak because if they ever crash, the whole market crash. What you really want to see, you want to see those stocks push up, consolidate, even if they pull back a little bit to put in a higher low. Then you want to see like that small stuff start pushing up, like Elf and Wolf and Serve, and just these like these little smaller cap stocks that we like to play sometimes. You want to see that stuff start going up while they consolidate. Yeah. All right, I got time for two more questions, and then I'm gonna jump off.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Hey, what's going on, Sean? I have a question. So I like to scalp, right? So sometimes what throws me off is like, well, I think I jumped too soon. I think one of my bad habits is I jumped too soon with trying to get into a play because, like, I'll see smart money come in, like let's say it's with bullish, and it comes in green, but then it'll disappear. Like it'll disappear and go away and come back. But I notice by then I'm already in the play. And it's like, okay, I lose a little bit of value, of course, with the time or whatever. Sometimes it's good, but then sometimes it just fall off and it just go the other way. How can I prevent myself from getting into a play too early when I'm trying to scalp? You know what I mean? And I see like, okay, we're looking good, it turning green. There's no, the order blocks ahead of me, upstairs. So let's go. That's one of my main problems I'm having.
So when you say it's turning green, what's turning green?
When the smart money, when the
The order
repays
blocks.
turns green, the order block, yeah, exactly.
You saying it turning green?
It'll go green, like okay, smart money's there, but then it'll go away. Like it'll. Let's
Oh,
say
you
for
saying you
instance, it
saying
start.
you saying like the order block could be on there. Are you talking about
Yes, sir.
these long order blocks, or you talking about a small one?
The small ones, yes, sir.
So those are fair value gaps. Okay, you talking about like these little patches, like these little patches right here?
Let me
Which
see.
one do they look like? These little squares, or do they just keep going forever?
No, it's the ones that go across, but it'll pop in like while the trade is going, like during the day when the trade was going on. Not the big order blocks. The big order blocks, I don't have a problem with those. Is the one that pop in. Let's say, for instance, when the market open,
Mm-hmm.
15 minutes into it, it'll pop in. But I notice it'll turn green, but then all of a sudden it'll like sometimes it'll go away. Does that
So
mean that an order is placed? And well, go ahead.
no. So in order for an order block, in order for these order blocks, so you sound like you'd be on like the would you be like on a 1 minute, 3 minute, 5 minute?
Yes.
Okay. So when you're on those lower time frames like that, what you're seeing is you see how we had this BOS right here, this breaker structure right here. This BOS stands for breaker
Yes.
structure. So these order blocks or this change of character, what you will see is you will see a candle push up, and then you will see this block will pop up, and then you will see this green order block pop up and all this stuff, and then you will see the candle might come back under, and then you see all that disappear, like
Yes.
flashing in and out. The reason why it does
Hmm.
that is because you have to wait on the candle to close. You see how this dash line is going from this candle over to this green candle. All right,
Right.
so this right here is a high, and so this stock has been in a downtrend. You see how it's making a lower high, then a lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. Right. So
Right.
in order for this thing to have this green change of character to lock in and then lock in this order block right here, this candle has to push up and then close while it's above the high of that candle. So if you jump in before this candle closes, even if it's a 1 minute candle, then you need to wait for. So when you see when you see it flash up like that, pay attention to what price that candle is trying to get to. So it's trying to get above the high of something to the left of it. If it closes above the high, then it all that whole order block setup was it'll snap in and lock in, and it won't go anywhere unless price comes all the way under it and closes. But if you jump in just on this candle, then it can disappear if this candle closes back under that. If it doesn't break the high of this candle. Do you understand what I'm?
Oh, yeah. That makes sense. I need to wait for it to lock in place, wait for it
Yeah,
to pass the beat, and then now is it best to wait for it to kind of come back and then see the BOS, then jump in?
yeah. Breaker structures are the best ones to trade. But see, if you wait for a change of character, since you have the WTMA on your chart, if you come up and you get a change of character right here, you can play the change of character if you have like if you got good structure. When I say structure, I mean you're above your you above your 12, you're above your 200. You see how this got open space and you got a good A+ trade. You can
Yeah.
play that if your structure and everything is in place, is intact. You don't want to see that and be under like your 12 or under your 200 and try to play calls when the actual trend is bare. As long as you're in line with that
Because we
trend,
invalid at that point.
that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah, if you're in line with that trend and then lock in, you can wait for it to pull back, retest your 12, and then try to play it up if you're gonna scalp it.
Ah, okay. That's a bet.
Yeah, no
Appreciate it. I'm
problem.
gonna keep watching out for that mistake I keep making.
Yeah. So yeah, just when you see that flashing like that, just let the candle close so it can lock in that order block, especially on those lower time frames like that.
Okay.
All right, I got time for one more. Does anybody else have a question that they want to ask about the alert system or what we're doing in that channel? And if not, does anybody have like a general question they wanted to ask?
Hey, I got a question on. You were playing a Tesla today.
Mm-hmm.
Now, was that? Can you go? Can you look at your chart and go over like what when you got in?
Yeah,
Um,
I didn't realize Tesla alerts went popping in here. I had to go since I added it late. I had got into Tesla earlier. I'm,
uh,
I'm, I'm gonna show you where I got in at.
I kind of learned like that because I know like how you're doing it. You know, like when you're getting in, and kind of helps me to like learn from that way. You know,
Yeah.
are you still in that?
Tesla, no, I was just scalping it. I made like 160 on it and sold. I made like
I
160
said,
on it.
oh,
So
he's gonna be like us. He's trying to help us out here.
nah,
You ain't got no 40 on there, man. I seen one. I go, what? That's like what?
nah, I was just testing. So I'm taking trades out of that channel, you know what I'm saying, so I can
Uh-huh.
experience it, you know what I'm saying, and kind of get a flow and see what need to be changed. I noticed today that I love to go to the daily time frame to a stock that has the ATR breaking out and
Mhm.
play it from there. Right. Let me see where I was at on Tesla. Oh no, I wasn't on this time frame. I don't see my entry. It was a fair value gap I saw over here. I think it was like 40 bucks or something like that. Let me see if I can think. So they got fair value down here. So I didn't get in early on this fair value gap. Yeah, when I played Tesla, I played them on this. So after this mark, this is what I was waiting on Tesla. You see how this first move up was kind of aggressive. I didn't chase them up on this move right here. I wanted to get to here on the VRVP right here. So my entry was I saw this marble. I didn't enter on this marble Bowser count, but after this marble Bowser count, I entered in here at this in this 43 range, and then
Mhm.
played them up from here.
Okay. So what time frame are you on? 'Cause it's kind of blurry by screen.
Huh? This is 5 minute.
Oh, the 5 minute. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, is there a was there be because those are none of those would be floating candles, right?
So what now?
Floating candles.
Yeah.
Those
Well, yeah.
none of those
So
are.
the level 3 confirmation here is this candle right here, but it's red. The floating candle is red. It pulled back and it just clung onto the 12. So I could have entered down here at 41, But only reason I didn't enter, you see how we had the volume profile right here. So when it was originally consolidating right here, I was thinking it was gonna have to come down and test VWAP down here inside of the order block. But I just once it broke in this range right here of the VRVP, I went ahead and scalped it here because there was no volume right here to stop it from going up. But it still gave me a different level 3 confirmation right here as well, which is the other trend line. So yeah, I played them from there, and but they were on our list of the stocks to play today. I think I added Tesla on there. Oh yeah, the bonus was Tesla.
Oh. Okay.
So I tried today just to stick to this list, and so that's how I played it.
Yeah, I get in sometimes. Like I got in on Tesla or the one that was going straight up, but I'm having like a difficult time trying to like stay.
I got you.
Like to stay in it because I'll get up, maybe I'll be up 100 or something. I'm like, that's good, man, because things get triggered down, and they don't hold long enough sometimes. And then when I get out, I'm like,